Good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock, and today we are in the 31st week, the 31st Sunday in ordinary time. We are so close to the end of the liturgical cycle. Today's text is taken from Mark chapter 12, verse 28 to 34. And I'd like to read that text out to you before I explain this text to you. One of the scribes came near and heard them disputing with one another, and seeing that he answered them well, he asked him, "Which commandment is the first of all?" Jesus answered, "The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these." Then the scribe said to him, "You are right, teacher. You have truly said that he is one, and besides him there is no other, and to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, and with all the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself, this is more important than all the whole burnt offerings and sacrifices." When Jesus saw that he had answered wisely, he said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And after that, no one dared ask him any question. The Gospel of the Lord. Now, my dear friends, the fourth round of attacks against Jesus was led by the Sadducees, and you can see that in the text just before today's text in chapter 12, verse 18. These rounds of attacks led by the Sadducees, and we know that Jesus had also managed to shut them down and shut them up. Now that the big guns had been silenced, it seems there was nobody left to question Jesus, but really there was. So if you look at Mark's Gospel, you will see that there were the Pharisees that came in, the scribes that came in, the Sadducees that came in, and one by one, each one of them came to attack Jesus. Now we are told that this man in question has come, and this man in question was a scribe. A scribe was a copyist. They were the interpreters of the law. The scribes were professionals at spelling out the letter of the law, but very sadly, they ignored the spirit behind it. And as a consequence of this brought them very often into very sharp conflict with Jesus. But they studied and interpreted the books with unwavering devotion. This is why the Jews and Semitic religions are often referred to as people of the book. Now, the scribe in our pericope seems to be one with a mind of his own. He doesn't want to follow the rest of the scribes in their beliefs about Jesus. He must have been hovering in the temple listening to the Jesus haters who came in attack formation. You can see wave after wave in chapter 12, they came to attack Jesus. This scribe is different. He stands in admiration of Jesus for his ability to answer them so well. We are told this very clearly. His admiration could have also stemmed from the fact that he was part of the Pharisee party, and if that was so, then Jesus, if you realize, had just shut up the scribes' rivals, which would be the Sadducees, with such a brilliant answer in verses 13 to verse 27. Perhaps his admiration may have even been intellectual. He himself, being a man of letter, found in this very simple carpenter intelligence par excellence. Whatever be his motivation, there is no doubt that a curiosity to get to know Jesus had crept into this man. He directs his question not to trap Jesus like the Pharisees and the scribes before this, but to get to know what Jesus stands for. In asking Jesus, which is the greatest commandment, he was throwing Jesus a question that was often asked to all Jewish religious leaders. In asking Jesus, which is the greatest commandment, the scribe could have also been probing the very foundations of Jesus' belief. Now, the reply of Jesus must have pleased the scribe, for Jesus very cleverly responds to the scribe's orthodox background with an orthodox reply. And that too, Jesus' reply comes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 4 to 5. And for good measure, also Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18 was thrown in as a reply by Jesus. Now, in answer to the young man's question, which says, which commandment is the first of all, Jesus breaks out into the Shema. Verse 29, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord with your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. Jesus breaks out into Shema. Hear, O Israel. Now, the Shema was the first of 3 texts recited twice daily by any pious Jew. Hearing the first words of Jesus' answer must have brought a smile to the scribe's face. Jesus answered him according to his very orthodox question. This smile must have certainly broadened even more when Jesus underlined his own orthodoxy as a Jewish teacher with 2 more texts from the Torah. Now, pleased to hear Jesus' ratification of his own mind, the scribe acknowledges Jesus as teacher and paraphrases the words of Jesus, declaring the thoughts of Jesus to be more important than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. These words by the scribes should not be understood as a repudiation of the sacrifice, for the scribe was simply echoing the prophet Hosea chapter 6 verse 6, which says, For I desire mercy, I don't desire sacrifice. And so there is mutual admiration. The scribe admired the way Jesus answered the Sadducees and was therefore also drawn to Jesus. Now Jesus admires how wisely the scribe has answered, and he pays him a compliment. He says, You are not far from the kingdom of God. In saying this, Jesus is not suggesting a deficiency in the scribe's qualification for the kingdom. Some may see it, not far means you are not close either. That's not true. Rather, Jesus is indicating that the scribe is close to a full understanding of the kingdom of God. The scribe's openness makes it easier for him to receive the understanding of the kingdom of God. Now think about it. Perhaps St. Mark wanted us to learn something from the scribe. Perhaps he had a catechetical purpose in presenting us with this text. We who have often heard the teaching of the Lord and responded generously are also perhaps not far from the kingdom either. I want to wish you a very happy Sunday. God bless you. Spend time today reading this text, meditating upon it, and asking yourself this question through the day. Am I far or am I close to the kingdom of God? God bless you. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to our channel if this is the first time you have tuned in. Keep well.